Good morning and welcome to This Week with Pastor Dino. I'm Dino and I'm so glad you are joining us here at First Presbyterian Church of Bradenton, where we are cultivating hearts for Jesus from the heart of downtown. Now, we have officially entered the Lenten season, and on Sunday, we looked at the very famous story of Jesus washing his disciples' feet. So let's take a look at this one section of that story that I want to hinge on this morning from John chapter 13. Jesus came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." "No," said Peter, "you shall never wash my feet." And Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no part with me." This whole idea of Jesus washing his disciples' feet is to draw them into even more intimacy in their relationship with him. And that's what Jesus wants for each one of us. He wants us an intimate relationship with him. But sometimes it's hard to do that. We sin, we push him away, we struggle, we don't include him in the deeper, more difficult aspects of our lives. And so Peter's got his own issues to deal with. He's going to deny Jesus after Jesus is arrested. He's got some pride to deal with. He adheres to the law too much. So Peter, even though he's an apostle, he has his own set of issues. And Jesus' offer to wash him is to cleanse him, but also to make him a part, to develop that sense of intimacy that even at the end of his life, Jesus wants to have with his followers. And in the resurrected life, Jesus wants to have with each one of us. So during the Lenten season, I just want to ask you, what needs to be washed out of your life? And are you trying to foster that sense of intimacy with Jesus that we so desperately need? That's what this Lenten season is about, and I hope that you will be digging into that during the core of this season. Thanks be to God. This week, the church office will be open Monday through Friday, and in case you missed it last week, we had an Ash Wednesday online presentation. It's still up on our streaming platforms. You can check that out. Again, I think just a good entry into the Lenten season, and I'm on it, but also you'll hear from Larry and Reverend Lewis Trotter, and you'll get some music from Ted Hayes and Carol Dunbar. So just a really cool opportunity we had to put something together to kick off the Lenten season. So make sure you check that out. And during the season of Lent, we're going to be going through this series, The Last Days of Jesus. I think it's important to look at what Jesus did when he knew his days were numbered. What did he say? How did he act? And what is that model for us as we strive to draw closer to him? So that's what we're going to be doing up until Easter. I'm really looking forward to it.
And now, this is what Ralph thinks.
What do you think about Valentine's Day?
Oh my gosh, I'm wearing a red shirt today and everything. Valentine's Day is a wonderful time that we can spend a holiday with it. But I tell you, from a male perspective, us guys have a rough time with Valentine's. I heard a recent survey saying most Valentine cards go to students. They give it amongst themselves in school. The second most recipient, the largest recipient of Valentine's Day card is women and our wives and all like that. So Valentine's Day for men doesn't mean quite as much, but by golly, if you forget to give to your wife or your girlfriend, you're going to be in trouble. So flowers, chocolates, treats, dinners. Valentine's Day is a wonderful day to show love to your wife or girlfriend or to others in your family. Just LOVE, love for Valentine's.
That was what Ralph thinks.
That's a Ralph.
Oh, good old Ralph. I'm glad we got him back in here. And today for the interview, I'm honored to have a very good friend and colleague here in the church. Maggie Renitz is here, and I get a chance to work with Maggie a lot. But she agreed reluctantly to come up to the studio and talk to me just for a few minutes. So let's take you there right now. I am here with one of my very special friends here at First Presbyterian Church. This is Maggie Renitz. Maggie, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, thank you.
It's good to have you. It was like pulling teeth to get you to actually appear here on the show.
You have me now.
I have you now. Maggie, I want to start at the very beginning of yours and my relationship, because you were on the team that gathered for 2 years and decided to extend an offer to me, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
That was 7-8 years ago. Can you believe it?
Wow, time flies.
I know. And you were the first person I ever talked to. What do you remember about that conversation?
I remember I was sitting in a parking lot in front of the golf store down on University, and I said, I better call him. And I remember mentioning to you that, oh yeah, here I am, and the palm trees are swaying, you've got to come interview, because we really would like to have you. Yeah,
cool.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah, I remember being so enthused, because you have a lot of enthusiasm. Like when I stick a camera in your face and tell you to talk to me randomly, you kind of shy away. But
correct.
On the phone, I remember just having this awesome conversation with you. You're so passionate about the church. How long have you been at First Pres?
Well, not much longer than you.
Okay.
I came in 2012,
Okay.
I believe. I was right after my husband passed, and we had been looking for a church. We had decided on First Pres mainly because we were going to the cantatas, and we loved the music, and just had a good feel at our church, and everyone was so friendly, and so we decided. And then he passed, and it took me a little while, but here I am.
Here you are, and you are like a servant extraordinaire. I mean, you're one of those people who, if you got a problem, Maggie will solve it, which I want to thank you really for your reliability, because you've been somebody this church has been able to lean on as an elder, as a deacon, as a servant, and in the music of our church, you actually are one of the few people who does kind of both sides of it. So tell me about your work with the worship band at the 9 o'clock service.
Oh, well, I had never been to a contemporary service before, and I think I was the membership elder, and that's when I started going to both services, and I fell in love with the new music. I started listening to Joy FM, and then I would print it out and play it at home on the piano, and just fell in love with that first service. But then you can never give up that second service, because the classical stuff is in my soul as well. So.
Sure. Yeah, so you're now singing in the choir as well.
Yes, I am.
Still singing in the choir.
Still. Yeah.
What's your part in the choir?
I am an alto.
Are you good?
I can read.
Yeah, that's good. Well,
that way.
Perfect. Good. Well, that's and sometimes that's about enough, right?
Yeah.
And with the band, I mean, we don't practice a whole lot. We kind of get up there and do what we can do, but I think we bring a lot of heart into it. But it's the same thing as sometimes that's all we can do, to just be like, I'm reading the chords and the words correctly.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. So
I enjoy it immensely.
What's been one of the real strong growth points for you since you've been here at First Pres, maybe over the last couple of years?
I think that the servant part is what I never was able to do, because I was so active teaching school and coaching, and it's just really nice to be able to call someone, offer an ear, offer a meal, and I think that really has given me more of a servant heart. I think it was in me, but I never had time to do it, and it just means a lot to me to help others.
So that's, I mean, you again retired. I know you still work as a tutor and stuff, but you retired and then you kind of had to reshuffle the priorities, which a lot of people here, we live in Florida on the Gulf Coast. It's like a leisure culture.
Oh, it's wonderful.
You want to go out and play golf. You want to go to the beach. You want to go out and kayak or whatever it is. So I think being a church servant really does require the shuffling of those priorities, and I just want to say it's admirable what you've done and what you've meant to this church. So thank you so much. That's a takeaway for everyone who's watching. Sometimes we need to evaluate our priorities. We're talking about that during the Lenten season. We have to look at our priorities and see not where Jesus fits in, but how we can get him to fit in more. So Maggie, I want to thank you so much for being here today and teaching us a little bit. Thank you for bringing me here to Bradenton 7 years ago with your team. It's been an awesome ride, and
our pleasure.
Here's to many more years to come.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Adios.
What a treasure, and again, I hope that you can really lean into that same level of servant-heartedness yourself, and it kind of reprioritizing the things that are going on in your own life. That's a great example for each one of us of the power of Christ to fill in those spaces. So This week, in terms of online programming, on Wednesday night, we've got the ABCs of Faith Lent edition. Larry and I will be back with special editions having to do with the Lenten season specifically, so tune in for that at 7 o'clock. On Saturday morning, we're going to have breakfast and Bible study, and that is a Zoom class. If you want to know how to get there, go to bradenton.church/Zoom, and it will have a link on how you can join up with that class on Zoom on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. We've got worship at 9 and 11. That'll be online and in person live with masks and social distancing. It's been really cool to see people start to trickle back as they get vaccinated and whatnot. So really starting to see those signs of life, but we're going to keep everything online for those of you who are still with us online. And that is going to be a part of our future. So wherever you're watching from, we thank you for being a part of what we're doing. We've got a new member class coming up on March 21st. If you have any interest in joining First Presbyterian Church, simply email the office at firstpresbradenton.com and let us know that you are interested in joining. Again, we go back to John 13, remembering that Jesus wants us to be a part of him. Jesus washes his disciples because he wants to foster that relationship, foster that sense of intimacy with his closest followers. But that continues on to us today as he comes to each one of us and says, I want you to be a part of me, but you have to let me wash you and cleanse you first. Cleanse the sin out of your life, cleanse the stuff out of your life that shouldn't be there, that separates you from me. I want you to be a part of me. That's what Jesus is saying to each one of us. I want you to be a part of me. During the Lenten season, I hope you'll keep digging on into that. Until next time, I'll look forward to seeing you then on This Week with Pastor Dino. Bye-bye. Yeah, of course we are.
Am I looking at you?
Yeah, we're just going to talk. We're just going to have a really simple conversation.
Okay.
So